So we're going to look at numbers 17 and 18 here from page 13 in the angle relationships packet because they're asking some different questions and are asking you to think in a little different way. So number 17, there's a diagram here. And this diagram is showing us a full rotation. So a couple of things we need to notice about this diagram is the first thing is this right here. This is a straight line. This is straight angle AOD. So this would be 180 degrees. So that means it's 180 degrees going this way, 180 degrees, and it's 180 degrees going this way. But if we go all the way around, it'd be 360 degrees because that would be a full rotation. But let's just kind of focus on this right here, this straight line here, remember it. It says name two complementary angles. Complementary angles that are angles that add up to 90 degrees. And the two complementary angles that jump out at me first would be the angles that are both 45, because I know that 45 plus 45 equals 90. So that means, by definition, those two angles, this angle here and this angle here, must be complementary. So I need to name those angles. So let me name them. I'm going to go this way. So angle AOB. And then I'm going to name this angle here. And I'm going to go this way. COD. Nice, write an and between them. So angles, I shouldn't add them. Angles AOB and COD are complementary because they add up to 90 degrees. Now it's asking me, well, what angle must be supplementary to angle BOA? So let me find angle BOA. So I'm looking for BOA. So I start at point B, and I go to O, and I go to A. And it says, what angle is supplementary to that? So that means I'm looking for an angle that I could add to that would make a straight angle of 180. Well, I can't necessarily go on numbers now. I need to go on the picture. So in this picture, I can see that this angle here is part of this straight angle. So the other part would be the part that was supplementary to it. So to make this straight angle and go from here to here. See how angle BOA was really what I called AOB? It's the same thing. So we're going to go from, now I'm going to go BOD. So angle BOD and angle BOA make this straight angle here. So that was angle BOD. BOD. Great. So there we go. Now I'm going to erase a lot of this because it's, oh, pause. That's better. Okay, so now letter C in number 17. Angle AOE and angle DOE are supplementary. Okay, cool. Let's see that. Angle AOE. See how I go from point to point AOE. That's this angle here. And angle DOE are supplementary. And I agree because they make that straight angle that we saw earlier. So that would be a supplementary relationship. Well, they don't give me an unknown for this, so I'm going to make X here inside this angle. Or actually, yeah, I'm going to make X. That means X and DOE, which is 30 degrees, are supplementary. So that means if I can add them together, they equal 180 degrees. So now I have my equation. I have an equal sign, I have an equation now, and then I can solve this by subtracting 30 from both sides, and I get that X equals 50. Well, I'm the one that wrote X, and what I write X for equals 150. This is why we write it out. Don't try to do it in your head. Okay, you know what? You know how I figured out that I was wrong? I'll tell you. I wrote 50 because I wasn't thinking. And then I looked at the picture and I went, that's bigger than 90. That can't be 50. clued it into me. So when I was like, oh, that can't be 50 degrees. This angle here is bigger than 90. And I looked back at my work and went, oh, I forgot the 100. And I caught my mistake. So a lot of times that's why I like to write it back in the picture, because I catch my mistakes. I've made many mistakes making this answer key, and the pictures have helped me. So now I put 150 degrees in this angle, and I notice that when I add them together, I get 180, and now I know the measure of angle AOE is 150. So if you put a variable in your diagram, you need to come back and make sure you answer the question that was asked. The question was asked, what's the measure of angle AOE? The question didn't ask what x is equal to. Okay, so make sure you go back and fix that or change it. And then the last question is super open-ended. It said name the angles that are adjacent to BOC. Well, there are a lot of angles that are adjacent to angle BOC, like a lot. So let me erase this first and let's start looking at this diagram. So first let me identify angle BOC. So here's BOC. The angles that are adjacent to BOC are any angle that has the vertex O and one of its sides is ray OC or ray OB. So there's a lot of angles there. You might think, well, no, there's only two. There's COD, that's one. That's adjacent to BOC. The clue is that they have the same middle number and they share same middle letter, and they share one of the other letters. So there'll only be one different. So that's adjacent. The other easy one would be angle AOB. See how it's OB and this one's BO? So that's how I know they're adjacent. But I can actually make other angles too. I didn't have to stop at angle COD. I could have went COE. So angle COE is also adjacent to it. I can extend this and even talk about reflex angles. And a reflex angle would be an angle that would go, I just erased everything, but a reflex angle would be, and I'm sorry, you're not going to ever get that back, by the way, so I hope you wrote that down. So we're back at BOC. A reflex angle would start here, like angle COA, and will go all the way this way. So that would also be adjacent, but you don't have to list the reflex angles. You can just have those three that we said: angle AOB, angle COD, and angle COE. And that should be good enough for your adjacent angles. So now when you try to do number 18 here, you kind of have an idea of what we're looking for in our answers. And if you choose, the only thing about 18 that's kind of confusing is one, don't be tripped up here. It says find angle QOR. Here's angle QOR. And so if you're looking for this one, you might want, maybe I'll put a letter B in here for the unknown, since it's part B. And then you can solve for that. And then if it says name the complement angle to ROS, that means the angle that's complementary to angle ROS. And remember, a linear pair is another word for supplementary. So go ahead and try number 18, and you can always check your answer in the answer key. Thanks.